It is Sunday morning. I don't usually leave the house Sunday morning, but I woke up to a text message this morning from an employee. That wasn't a good text message, and then about 20 minutes later I got another text message from my cousin over the same issue. So let me take you down here and show you why we can't have nice things. We are approaching the intersection here in our town. I own this property across from the intersection with these signs on it, and this is where I have my Trump sign. It's great visibility here. I let nonprofit organizations put signs here all the time to advertise their events. Well, let's see here. Somebody has screwed with my sign. 34 count felon. So why would somebody do this? Well, do they really hate Trump that badly that they have to do this? I would never think of going to the other candidates' signs and doing something like this, but you know, some people here, they don't care. Do they really hate him that bad? I don't know. I guess they do. So we are in a county that had a 60% vote for Trump, 37% for the other candidate. But I guess that 37% just has a lot of hate in their blood. You really should seek help if you have that much hate for a candidate. I'd already had a couple of people express interest in the sign. I could have probably auctioned it off and made some money for a local organization, but I guess I can't do that now. I'm somewhat surprised that the sign has stayed here this long. I've had it up for about 2 weeks. I would have thought someone would have taken it by now. And actually, I have a funny story about this. I think it was this past Thursday, a friend of my daughter called her and said, "Hey, I want you to go with me. I've got something I want to do." So the friend comes and picks up my daughter, and she said, "Hey, you know that Trump sign that is up at the intersection?" She said, "I want that sign." She's a Trump fan. She says, "I want that sign. When it gets dark, let's go up there and get that sign." And my daughter looks at her and says, "Don't you know whose sign that is? Don't you know whose property that is? That is my father's sign, my father's property. You can't take that sign." So she said, "Oh, I didn't know that." She said, "Ask your father if I can have that sign when he's done with it." So yeah, I'd had other people ask me as well about this sign. And so I thought, hey, maybe we can auction this sign off, but, well, this is why we can't have nice things. Some people, you know, unbelievable. Oh well, it's just a sign. As I said, I would never consider going on someone else's property and defacing the opponent's sign, but that's not the way everybody thinks. You know, the hate that people have for Trump is just unbelievable, and it's the media that has spun them up. It's the media to blame for all of this. You didn't see the media on the right spinning us up to go out and do hateful things to the other side. It's just crazy. Oh well, I'm not gonna let it bother me. It's just the nature of the beast, and we're gonna have 4 years of this to put up with from the left, but luckily what we get in return is going to be well worth it, because I think, well, Trump is going to have a tough road ahead of him, but he's going to make some changes, and we will return America to greatness again. we're already starting to see the changes. You know, world leaders have been calling Trump, and changes are already taking place across the world because of Trump's election. So it can only get better from here. Okay, I am at the hardware store now, and I've got the lowdown on this story, and it gets even better than what I've already told you, but I need to set the scenario up here. So this is the back door of the hardware store here. This is our storage room here. This back door is the window to the world. We can come here and see everything that's going on. Over here, the Dollar General, up towards the American Legion, the gas station, the main road here going by. So I'm setting up the picture for you, and let me jump back in my truck and tell the story on the way home here. Okay, let's see if I can tell this story so it doesn't get too long here. Well, this story kind of started last night about 5 o'clock, between 5 o'clock and 5:30. This guy on a bicycle stops in at the hardware store and he says, "Hey man, I've got a flat tire on my bike. Can you help me?" So by this time, I've only got one employee at the store. For the last hour, we only keep one employee there because it's not that busy. So this employee goes to the back room and, you know, tries to help this guy out with his bicycle, trying to get this tire fixed. The employee spends an hour with this guy. The store closes at 6. The employee, you know, locks the doors, goes to the back room to try to help this guy with his bicycle. And so the employee did not leave till about 6:30, you know, trying to help this guy. That's what we do at our hardware store. So I think he may have got the guy going again. That part is not clear. Anyhow, the guy ends up with another flat tire on his bicycle, and apparently he's toting some bags. So he left his bag up here on my property behind the Trump sign or somewhere on my property overnight. He just leaves his bag there because he can't push his bicycle and tote his bag and do whatever he needs to do. This morning he goes up there to retrieve his bag, and a customer sees him up there and at the same time sees the sign that has been spray painted. And so this customer comes down and tells my employee, "Hey, you know, the Trump sign has been spray painted. I see a guy on a bicycle up near the sign. He must be the one that did it." So in the meantime, this guy is now down at Dollar General, which is across from our store that we can see from our back door. So one of my employees goes over and says, "Hey, just be up front with me. Are you the one that spray painted the sign up there?" He says, "No, I did not. That wasn't me. I saw that this morning when I picked up my bag." And he proceeds to tell the story. And so he comes over to the hardware store, and my two employees are trying to help him get his bike tire fixed again. In the meantime, someone calls the hardware store and says, "Hey, I've called the police over the sign that has been spray painted, and we see the guy is down at the Dollar General. And so we've told the police this is the same guy they're looking for." So on our local news site a couple days ago, there was a picture of a guy put up that the cops had raided his house and found all of these ghost guns or guns that had been printed on 3D printers. Found lots of guns, but they didn't find the guy. So this guy is wanted. Somehow these people that were up at the American Legion this morning said, "Hey, that guy on the bicycle is the same guy that's on the internet." So they called the police to say, "Hey, we see this wanted guy. He's in our community here. He's at the Dollar General." The police come down, the SWAT team, undercover, I don't know who it is. It's quite a few of them, come down with weapons drawn, guns drawn, and they surround the ATM machine, what used to be the ATM machine in the Dollar General parking lot. I guess they had suspicion to believe that's where this guy was. Well, in the meantime, the guy is now over at our hardware store at the back door because my employees are helping him fix his bike. So now they are seeing all the police come in with their guns drawn over at the Dollar General. And so the employees tell the man they're helping fix the bike, hey, you should probably go over there and tell them that you're the guy they're looking for, but you're not the guy they're looking for. Just, so they can calm down. So then he does that. I guess in the meantime, the police then come over to our store and they're hunting all around the back of the store, around the trees or wherever, guns drawn. My employees are standing at the back door watching it. The police are telling them to get back inside. My employees are saying, no, this isn't the guy you're looking for. We've already talked to him. He's not the guy. So they pack up and go home with their tail between their legs. One of my employees said, the police really looked disappointed. Well, you got them all amped up for nothing this morning. So this guy looks nothing like the guy on the internet that they're actually looking for. My employees did get the guy's bicycle fixed. This guy apparently is down on his luck right now, and he doesn't have a place to go. While the employees are telling me this story, and we're getting long here now, while the employees are telling me this story, the guy walks into the store, and I say, hey, you're the guy that caused all the trouble last night or this morning. He said, yeah. Well, I guess this guy was sleeping outside of the ATM, and so that is why the cops were surrounding this ATM with guns drawn. They got word that that's where the guy had been sleeping overnight. Once his bicycle got a flat tire, he couldn't go elsewhere. So the guy said, yeah, I was kind of sleeping in front of the ATM. He said, I didn't realize till this morning that there was an open door or a hole on the backside of the ATM. He said, I could have gone inside and slept because, as I said, this ATM, it was robbed probably 2 years ago and destroyed. And so the bank decided, not to put the ATM back there. So that building has just a small, like a 10 by 10 building. It has been sitting empty since then. So yeah, the cops were surrounding that, thinking that guy was inside of there. So I guess somebody at the American Legion, this guy went back up there this morning, somebody gave him some money, apologized for putting him through all this trouble because it was somebody from up there that was there this morning that called the police and started all this trouble. So then this guy was coming in to pay for his tube. I think they put a new tube into his bicycle tire. So he was coming back to pay for that because somebody had given him some money. My employees had already decided they were going to, pay for this tube. This guy was just down on his luck. And so they just did this for him and said, don't worry about it. We've got this. But he did come back to pay for the tube. So he didn't have to do that. My employees were going to take care of this for him. So yes, excitement this morning at the hardware store. We have been having more of these incidents at the store lately, it seems like. Just unbelievable. So I'm going to pull the footage. Hopefully, while I've talked about this, I've had some of the footage from our hardware store showing the police coming up. I did look at our sales history for the last couple of days to see if we sold any black spray paint. We did sell 1 can of black spray paint on Friday. I was able to go back and look at that transaction and then look at the videotape to see who bought that spray paint because it was just 1 can of spray paint on the transaction and cash was paid for it. But as I told my employees, I said, this can't be the one because they bought one of the most expensive cans of spray paint. If I'm going to go out and paint signs, I'm not buying an expensive can of spray paint. I'm buying the cheapest can there is. Once I saw the footage and saw who the person was that bought the spray paint, I said, no, he wouldn't do it. I said, he's on my side. He's a Trump supporter. It's no way he would have painted that. So it's not him. So I only went back 3 days to check. So the person didn't buy the spray paint at my store. If they did, it was bought before Thursday. This isn't worth wasting the police time over for a sign like this. I don't have any video footage up there. I don't have any video cameras up there. We don't have neighbors close by with video cameras up there to see it. So maybe if somebody watches this video, they will have heard of something through the grapevine, and you can get back to me and let me know who you think did it. If you hear it through the grapevine that, somebody squeals or tells or drops the beans or whatever. So, okay. this story went too long, happy Sunday morning to you and me. By the time I get this uploaded, it'll be Sunday afternoon, though. Okay, I'm going to say, see ya!